Join me today as we put everything back into the Brookfield and we put it back on its landscaped board and back into my living room. Well, today we're looking at the back of the dollhouse again. This is probably our final look at the inside of this dollhouse today, and then we will go on to other projects next week. One thing I do want to ask you guys, I did find the wiring diagrams for this dollhouse. I am not decided if I'm going to put lights in it, but if I get a response that you guys really want to see me light it, I will do so. So comment below and let me know if you really want to see me light this house or not. Because I could put a few table lamps in and floor lamps and such in here. Hopefully the wiring is still working. So let's start putting stuff back in. Let's start with, we're going to start in the bedroom. We've got our picture that I did on Trash to Treasure. I think I'm going to do it that direction. I like that direction. And I'm just using some of this, this is called Handy Tack, the stuff that you buy to hang posters up with. And just push it firmly on the wall. The yellow doesn't seem to stain. I prefer the white when I can find it, but I didn't have any white. The blue, I try to stay away from the blue tack because it does seem to stain. We've got the bed. I'm not putting everything back in that was in here before, I don't think. And I actually found a few pieces that had fallen out too. So I'm going to show you my little kitty. This little kitty looks like the kitty that we had when I made this house. That's why she's in there. I have this little end table, little table that I use for a nightstand kind of thing. And we have the dresser. This is one of the House of Miniatures, I believe they're called. Kits that used to be really common. You could still find them on eBay and garage sales, and I even saw some at a thrift store one day. If you find them, buy them. They're wood kits. They're super simple to put together. This is another one. Super simple to put together. And they turn out really nice. I don't know what I've gotten on this one. I have tried to clean this one several times. I cannot get all the dust off of it. A little chair. I should redo that chair. That one's not in very good shape. I'm leaving the rug out of that room. So that's the bedroom. I think I'm going to leave out, well, I'm going to put, yeah, I think I'll leave out the rest of the stuff that was in there. So let me reposition the camera and we'll go on to the bathroom. I did consult, I tried several different ideas I had as far as getting this floor and the kitchen floor clean again, get it white. Because as I talked about when we took everything out, these two floors have turned really, really, I wouldn't even call it yellow. They've turned beige. I'll try and get a picture of the kitchen floor before I start putting the stuff back in the kitchen, because the kitchen one's really bad. I've tried everything I could think of to clean it with. I consulted the company that I bought it from, and they also had no real ideas. The kitchen floor, because their ideas were the same as mine, the kitchen floor I could repaint. The bathroom floor would be next to impossible to repaint because, if you can see in the camera, it's not only white, it's got little pink diamonds in between each block, so I couldn't really repaint that. So that floor we'll have to live with. Got the bathtub, and by the way, the bathroom set in here is just a Krisenbahn set with a sink. I think this cabinet was part of it, the bathtub, the toilet, which I made a new tank for, and I will get a photo of that. And I think this stool came in it too. Missing some accessories. Someplace in the bottom of my box there's some bathroom accessories, and I don't see them yet, so I'll have to find those. We've got this little wire rack. Like I said when I took the stuff out, I don't remember where that came from. This laundry basket is a jet dry, solid jet dry for the dishwasher. Those work really well. We've got our little, let's put our little plant right there. Just a little fern. I will get photos of each room and I'll put them on the blog. So if you want to get a better look at each room, be sure to check the blog post. So that's the bathroom. I'll turn the camera off. I'll move us down to the living room and we can start putting stuff in there. I've got this. I love the Krisenbahn cabinet, little curio cabinet. I've just got lots of little things in there. I'll take a picture of this too. I always keep over there. But we can kind of almost see it from the window. And I'll probably have to stand things back up. Truthfully, I'll have to stand things back up when I get it moved. There is a rug that's kind of fastened down by the door and I can't get it out. So this little rug. Couch. This is the first couch and chair that I refinished. I think I had those reversed. I think I like it this way this time. And I've got my coffee table had fallen down behind the table. This lamp was always meant to go right here. And it won't stand up on its own until it's fastened in. That's one, if we decide to wire this, to light this, we will wire that one in. Got a magazine rack. I don't remember where I got that kit. And then our TV cabinet. And I forgot to wipe the top of this off. This is, let me kind of wipe the top of this off. I should have cleaned this one better. This is actually one of those Michaels hutches, if you're familiar with the little wooden hutches. And I just painted it black on the inside. And I thought it looked like, you know, like a TV armoire. Someday, and that's a future project. We need to make a TV set to go in here. I'll make a note of that. And that just sits here. And I love how it fits under the steps. It fits in perfectly there. So let me turn the camera off and shift us over to the kitchen. We're almost done putting this back together. All right, so the first thing that has to go in is the table. I've made a little fish and chips. The little Snapple bottle we bought somewhere. I have no idea where. It was a very early purchase. And this is a Krisenbahn table and chairs. I really like how this set looks in here. And the table does fold up. The leaves come up on it. This piece, I don't remember if I talked about this when I took everything out. This piece is still available, but it doesn't look like this when you buy it. I think it was white when I got it. If I remember correctly, this was white. But it had a really thick piece of wood here on the shelf. And I got it. I was really unhappy with it. And then I decided to cut a piece of thinner wood. And I love the cabinet. So that goes in here. Also, I've never found pans that would hang on it. So I don't have pans hanging on it. We have our sink with a roast beef ready to cook. Oops, the refrigerator needs to go in next. And this is just a really inexpensive kitchen set from Hobby Builder Supply, also known as miniatures.com. Here's the oven. All three of those white pieces came together as a set. And I know they were really inexpensive. I'm pretty sure they're still in the catalog. So you can see they look decent in this when they're set up. So let me get some photos, and then we'll move over to the living room, and we'll put this back where it lives. All right, before we move the dollhouse back to where it lives and look at where it sits, we need to put the cover back on, since that was kind of part of the whole idea of this whole series. So we'll start with the back panel. And in 2020 hindsight, now that I'm not taking cold medicine, I realize that this actually, on this dollhouse, fits better to go in this way. So I didn't need to make it shorter. I don't need to slide from the side on this particular house. I've had a few questions about how come there's no track on the top. We don't need a track on the top. The roof acts as the top track, and if we had a track up there, it would interfere with looking at the dollhouse. The beauty of this particular cover is it doesn't block your view of the dollhouse. So you can have this cover on, you can still look at the dollhouse, and have a complete view without having it obstructed by any tracks or anything like that. So we'll just slide this up. See if I can slide it straight up its track. It's got to have a little help to get past the shingles. Put our nails in. And there. Now everything will stay in the dollhouse. I won't have to dig behind the table again to retrieve anything, and it should stay a lot cleaner. But that's why we don't have a track here, is the roof acts as that. So now I will move the camera over, show you the table this sits on, and then I'll move the house back. So I thought before I put the dollhouse back, I would show you a little bit about how I constructed this table or this board, in case you want to do one before we get around to doing one for the Harrison. And the one for the Harrison, because it will be bigger, will be done differently. At the end of this video, you'll be able to see the house from a distance too. So the board was made, I decided how big I wanted the board based on how big my table was underneath. And this is just one of those plywood, the table's one of those plywood circles that you buy the legs that you bolt on at Home Depot. That's all that's under there. And then a piece of fabric. I built a frame around this with just some small lumber. The corners aren't even mitered. I just butted the corners up. Drew out my plan, and I knew I wanted a walkway. I laid the house down, I outlined the house. Then I drew down what I wanted. The grassy areas are builder's foam covered with the towel that's been painted just like we did for the farm stand. The walkway is actually a real vinyl floor tile that was left over from my real life bathroom. I just cut it into squares, glued it down. I didn't even grout. I did grout it. I can see grout in between, and then I glued some moss on between some stones. The edge, which you'll see better later, is egg cartons. Excuse me, not eggshells, egg cartons. And this was one of the first places I did the egg carton stones, and I really like how they turned out. I made the planting areas, and these look more down, like they're in the ground more. You don't really see anything but the top on these. I made them this way. They fit in and they come out because eventually I want to make changeable flower beds for the seasons. I want to make some spring flowers and some fall flowers and have planted beds that go in there, and I can change them out with these plain ones. This little garden shed, let's see, make sure you can see that. You can kind of see it. There, now you can. This was out of an old, either Nutshell News or Dollhouse Miniatures magazine. I think it's a Joanne Swanson kit. There's all kinds of junk in there. There's also a freezer that really needs cleaning that I made off of an old Nutshell News pattern. We might make one of those freezers one of these days. But that, I thought, really made the yard. And I love this little water stand. I make those. I used to have those for sale on Etsy, but my Etsy shop is like not even active right now. I haven't got anything in there. But that's the dollhouse. Oh, and where I wanted it to look like dirt, I painted under where the house was going to be brown, and then this is coffee grounds that are dried coffee grounds that are glued on just in case those areas would show. So let me go get the dollhouse, we'll get it in place, and we'll get another look. Well, there's the dollhouse back in its normal location in the corner of my living room. It sits between two windows. It has a light, kind of a spotlight light over the top of it. And I love having it here. I really love it sitting here. So that's how it looks. And you can see the landscape board around it. And you can see how those flower beds kind of blend in. We'll probably work on some flowers for the flower bed one of these days, and something to put in those window boxes. They've never been filled. So that's the Brookfield as it is now. Remember, let me know if you want to see me put lights in it. If you do, I can probably be convinced to put lights in this dollhouse since it is wired. So I hope you enjoyed this little project of getting this kind of back in shape and covered and everything back in place. So be sure and check out the blog post. There will be photos of the inside of the dollhouse on the blog post. I took a whole bunch of photos a few minutes ago. So there'll be lots of pictures there. Be sure and join us on Facebook and join the discussion over there. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.